Hey, 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 it's Sarah Jane. Better late than never, as they say. Welcome, welcome. Magic Monday to you and day, gosh, I think it's day, what is the date? 15th. Day 15 of the 28-day Active Appreciation Challenge. How are you all doing? If you ever doubted that you are believable or not worthy of appreciating yourself, now is the time to hop on in. Hi Christina, good to see you here. The sundown is in Neisner. There was a big controlled burn today, so there was a lot of dirty smoke in the air, killing all the alien invasion plants. So how's it going? Let me know. Today I'm really going to open it up for Q&A, because confusion is sometimes not confusion at all. It's not that you don't know, it's just that there's something missing. And again, we want to go into actively appreciating the question as the power of choice to get whatever it is that you are looking for. Busy day, connecting, fantastic, good to hear it. Yeah, so radical acceptance all the way. Tread lightly on yourself, and just remember, you know, we're changing, we're shifting and growing and changing all the time. And things often look the opposite of what they seem to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be a lot of the time. So it never ends, this growing that we do. And it's not the pain, it's not the pain that we're afraid of. We're actually not afraid of pain. We're actually afraid, I believe, of our own potency. We're afraid of growth. We're afraid of things not staying the same, and they never are the same. Every molecule in your body is shifting and changing all the time, and yet we want everything around us to stay the same. So give me some love, give me some hearts. I see some of you on here. So what is radical appreciation looking like for you today? And what questions do you have around confusion or chaos, or something that you want to deepen into that I can support you with? Just type it in the comments, share this with a friend. Let's get the party going here. Thank you for the hearts, I appreciate that. Oh, and a flower, awesome. So remember, what you focus on is what is going to expand, and the external environment often looks very confusing. We're getting mixed signals all the time, and we really need to, this is what I teach in the nervous system reboot, in coming back home to your heart, is we have to be able to function in a chaotic, noisy world, no matter what's going on around us. It can someone look confusing to the energy body, to what we feel, that we need to just push pause. We need to take a breath and just look at, hey, what's going on here? What is it that I need here? And remember, you are becoming. You're always becoming. And we're all looking for better, right? The one thing we all have in common as human beings is we want to be better. We want to have better. We want to be able to appreciate that we are growing. Busy day. People seem to find me. I need more information. Is that the confusion? Christina, give me more information. And just remember, your thoughts, your emotions, the physical state of your body, nothing is stagnant, nothing stands still. We're shifting and changing all the time. The gallbladder and the consciousness on the gallbladder as the hinge, governed by the wood element of, in Chinese medicine, is all about flexibility. Hi, Ricky. So if you're trying to hold on and keep everything the same, without allowing that hinge to open and close, remember we talked about the gate the other day, that's when we start to go into suffering, right? We go into the pain of change. And I want you to start really deepening into appreciating the change, that you are shifting and changing. And transmogrification is something that I really love to do, and it's something that we've forgotten that we can do. We're intuitive beings, and it's our natural state of being to intuit, right? Into your gut, intuit from the inside out, and stop asking for things to stay the same, because that is the stagnant water. Water needs to flow. No, just appreciating. Yes, and people will find you when you're very clear in what you stand for, when you know who you are and you love whatever arises in you, you never change, right? Your compass direction, what you're aiming at, stays the same. How you get there is how you get there. So being willing to have the appreciation for flexibility. Thank you for sharing, Mariette. That's awesome. Tag a friend. Let's get this crowd, let's get this party going. And today we're talking about the appreciation of when things get a little confusing. Remember, that's the I don't know, because you start to shut down on your nervous system and you shrug your shoulders. You see that with children. It's just like, I don't know. Yes, you do know. Yes, you do know. And sometimes that's just flooding, what I call flooding the nervous system. If you bring in too much, it's kind of like taking a mask off of a falcon. If you let too much light in too quickly, there is shock and trauma to the system, and because it's just getting flooded with too much information, which is pretty much the world that we live in right now, that we shut down from a nervous system perspective, and we don't want that. So this is about slow and steady. This is about daily training and consistency, so that you can really start deepening into knowing who you are, so that people can find you. Okay? So, is making sense so far? You know, just remember, becoming something else is transmogrification. I don't know about you, but I look at myself in the mirror. Sometimes I don't even recognize myself. Hi, Chris, nice to see you here. And then we're kind of surprised. So how often are you actually putting yourself into a state of confusion because you actually feel inside that things are changing, but people around you don't want to change? And this is where a lot of times confusion in your environment is actually looking at people trying to confuse you, especially the narcissist, especially in those areas of domination or wanting control over other people, that we will create a lot of confusion. People do this with money all the time. I mean, you know, in the shop, it's like changing notes, and before you know it, it's very confusing, and then you find that you've being swindled, or it happens all the time. And that is where people are actually wanting intentionally to confuse you to get what they want. So just remember, the wonderful part about transmogrification, about shape-shifting, about allowing yourself the flexibility to try on new things. This is not about, it's not about, oh, everybody's coming home from work. This isn't about, now this is the difference between image and persona. If you're trying to maintain an image of looking a certain way, or having the you know, the lifestyle of the rich and famous. Hi Lynn, nice to see you here. And that's not who you are. Energetically, people pick it up, right? It's the fraudsters and the pranksters and the trickster energy out there, which is very deceptive in what it looks like, because the person is trying to be something that they're not, and it's pretty hard to maintain that too. Thank you for the loves, thank you for the hearts. It's really hard to maintain that, and we don't want to, right? Because that's where we're not living in our true nature. We're trying to be something that we're not, or we're trying to stay the same in order to make the people around us feel more comfortable. So the wonderful part of allowing yourself to deepen into who you are in your true nature is that people get to see you, right? The good, the bad, the messy. There's nothing to hide and nothing to prove, right? Give me some hell yeses or some love. I struggle to keep focused today. Yeah, because your mom wants your full attention. So how can you create those strong boundaries that are kind and loving, not only to you, but to your mother as well? And that's really where we start to appreciate that things are not always calm and clear and all the rest. There is a lot of chaos and noise going around. Hi Debbie Brickley. So fake it till you, I hate that. I'm sorry, but personally I hate the fake it till you make it thing, because that means that you're fakery. Yeah, you know, it's, I don't know, let me think about that. Let me just feel into this. So are you truly faking anything? If you're showing up and you are training and you are strengthening your muscles of strong boundaries, if you're strengthening or deepening into the practice of meditation, You're not saying that you're an expert meditator. You're not saying that you know everything. And also be willing to be the know-it-all that knows it all, as well as knowing nothing. And look at the contrasts of that, because are we ever really faking when we're actually learning something? You know, it's a child that's learning to walk doesn't have to fake the fact that she's learning to walk or learning to crawl. It's that transitional period of mastery where we come in with curiosity, with wonder, and it feels aligned with what we're wanting to do. So we have to go in and deepen the practice and fall down a few times and allow ourselves that transitional time to really deepen into the practice and the mastery of what we've come here to share. So I'm not particularly fond of the fake it till you make it. You know, you can own, and that's the vulnerability and the integrity and the honesty and the truth and the generosity and the kindness. So the 5 cornerstones of great relationship always starts from, I don't know this, and being willing to say I don't know it. Hi Kelly Heath, hi Anjana, give me some hearts, give me some love, tell me that you're happy to be spending Monday sundowners with me, and that this conversation is a contribution to you, because it matters to my ego, to know that I'm not just showing up here talking cock, as we say in South Africa. So, you know, the power of choice is there. It's yours to choose, and there is no fakery, and there's a lot of fakery. You know, a lot of people out there pretending to be experts, pretending to do things, or faking it until they make it. You know, doing a 2-day animal communication class, or you know, a month's online psychology course does not make you qualified to say I'm a psychologist or an animal communicator or whatever else it is. You know, you can say that when you've put in 100,000 hours, and then you're an expert. But you do come in, don't we, with our own PhD of life experiences. That's what makes us an expert. But then we need to do the training to really be able to move that into something for somebody else, to be able to receive. So just remember that the art of appreciation of flexibility that we did last week. Today's been great. Awesome. Anjana, how does it get more and more beautiful and easy and effortless and exciting than that? I look forward to hearing what you have created or projected out there for people that are asking for that. So yay. So just remember, you know, you're guaranteed to always become better. You're guaranteed to always be something. You are something already, and you can become anything you want. You just have to choose it, and then do a shitload of training to master the skill of whatever that is. Take the training wheels off, let go of the side of the airplane, and then look at, wow, what will you become today? You know, what great and glorious adventures am I going to have? You know, confusion just means you need more information. This is where so many people quit, because they don't believe that they have what it takes to become a master at it. And a lot of times our purpose, our passions don't necessarily become the things that we create money from. We looked at this when we did the last 7-day challenge, where I said, go and practice something that you have been putting off. You know, if that's playing the piano, or learning to do Spanish dancing, something that is an appreciation for the creative, that fills you up, that gives you joy, that you're not choosing to learn or master to make money out of. Because we're always kind of, oh, well, I won't do something that brings joy or fills me up or deepens who I am unless it makes me money. We're always told, you know, what am I going to get if I do this thing? And that this is a beautiful place where it's just like, you know, you have the a la carte smorgasbord of plugging into cosmic Google. You literally can have and become anything that you want, but you have to choose. So confusion only comes in when we start to look at the agenda, right, what's the agenda here? Rather than what is the target? Is my heart, is this thing in alignment with the resonance of who I am becoming? And if it isn't, that's where you're going to start to get into that murky water of choosing things that are out of congruence and out of alignment, and then it's never fun, or you kill your business because you're doing it for the money, or you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And it's not in the how, it's in the asking of, you know, what am I aware of in this moment? Making it a what? I can't see that. I prefer making it a... Okay. Oh, a target. Exactly. I'm glad you get that now, because I know you were like kind of fixated into this goal setting, and we know that the energy, it's the energy first. That's our first line of communication. So if energetically you're setting yourself goals, you really are. And we spoke about this the other day, and I'm glad you get that, Anjana. You know, you're literally setting yourself up for locking yourself in a jail. And oftentimes other people too that are actually there who want to contribute to you. So again, all of the things that we've talked about, and hopefully you have expanded through, just hearing it again, or being on these last 15 days, hi Cecilia, have really deepened and contributed to giving you good training skills to really be aware of how you're languaging to yourself. Where are you putting your energy? Where are you needing to tighten up on your boundaries? And what today, in regards to the topic of confusion, is just like, where do you find that you put yourself or shut yourself down or flood yourself with too much information, and then make yourself wrong or go into judgment because you are confused? Okay, so it's what I like to ask when people say I'm confused is to say, is that true? You know, is it true that you're confused, or is this just an easy way? It's like, I don't know. I don't know isn't oftentimes a way to not be confrontational, a way to not rock the boat, a way to not actually speak your truth, because you're going to rattle somebody's cage. So it's in the asking of, what am I aware of? What is this energy that I'm feeling? And what do I need in this moment? And that can be a person, a place, information. What am I seeing? What am I feeling in my body? What am I hearing? What do I need to taste? What do I need to know? And being discerning is not the same as being judgmental either. So, you know, discernment for me was always kind of like, you know, those people that look down their nose. So a lot of metal people, they just have that sort of, there's an arrogance to it that we've been made wrong for. So what if that discernment actually is knowing yourself, the power of knowing your truth, and it has nothing to do with separation or judgment. So this is where words are tricky, and sometimes you've got to feel into, how does it make you feel? Is there always like a hook there? Because discernment for me is like a big-minded awareness. It's like I'm awake when I'm kind of discerning, light, heavy or light. It's wide. It's like the wide view, and it's awake. I'm alert and I'm awake and I'm aware of what is this thing. Whereas judgment is very narrow-minded. You know, it's, oh, there's a beautiful little birdie here, little olive thrush. Very narrow-minded and very much operates in the dark. So that's the manipulation, and it's the places where, you know, people are often going into that place of a hidden agenda. So discernment is always coming from that place of deep love, of deep self-love, of our wisdom coming away, coming to life through the seeds that you've planted, through fertile listening, through the roots, right? Through the roots of what you're deeply rooted in. What do you stand for? Knowing your truth will lead to choices that good for needs your journey. Choices that good for needs. Okay. Yeah, and also, again, when we're kind of deepening into this too, you know, I always kind of say, be aware of what you're asking for, because sometimes when we make sort of these deep proclamations, it feels a little funky in the heart. The mind gets it, but the heart kind of goes, well, is that true, or did you just go into a judgment and a conclusion by saying that if I know my truth, then it's something outside of me that I have to find before I can actually make great choices, or choices that are aligned with the journey or the target that I'm moving towards. So just be aware of the languaging. I can't stress enough how important it is to actually feel the vibration of the words. Remember, we're spelling. Whether we're thinking in our heads, we're languaging internally, or we're projecting, we're talking outward with words. Just be aware of where am I out of my awareness? Where am I? Where is this discernment, and where is it actually a conclusion that ends up being a judgment or a way that holds you back? Does that make sense? Anybody? Does that make sense? Fuse between heart and mind? Yeah. So again, the English language is weird. My friend Nicole was telling me some beautiful words in German in the last couple of days that there isn't really an English translation for. And they just felt really, really good. I didn't understand what she was saying, but I felt it, and we were kind of looking for words because we had a lot of broken glasses and china yesterday, and she was saying, I can't remember what the word was, but it felt, you could feel what it meant in the German, and in the English translation it was like it didn't quite translate. So this is why a lot of times if English isn't your native language, and you speak Italian, or that if you hear clearings, or you often listen to trainings or anything like this, you'll get the energetic resonance. So that's something that I actually quite like to do sometimes, is listen to a meditation, or listen to something that isn't in English, Aramaic or Sanskrit, or do some of the mantras in Sanskrit. It really is a resonance of feeling, because judgment is a really nasty. It doesn't matter what way you look at it. Judgment is always confusing, and you can dice it and slice it and dress it up. It is nasty stuff, and it's always divisive, and it's always reactionary, and it's always very unaccommodating. And we're always looking for a win-win. We're always looking into how can we create more, how can we create better than this, how can we be better than this. And it has a very limited perspective. It's the pinched face, it's the grimace, and when you start looking at microfacial expressions, which I love, because I love to read energy, and I'm pretty good at it. It looks like a smile, but it's actually complete disdain. It's the pinched face. It's the heart that closes by default, and it gets easily confused because it's only looking in one direction, right? And it's looking through blinkers. Judgment works really, really hard to camouflage feeling threatened a lot of the times. That's a way that we flip it, and we end up confusing people. It's very me versus others, and it says but a lot, and we trained ourselves into saying yes. And again, really, it all comes back to energy as your first line of communication, not the words. Yes and sounds a whole lot better than yes but, right? The big fat but, the killer of all dreams and creativity. Confusion is another one of those distractors that come in there, along with anger, blame, and shame, and regret, and guilt, and all of this stuff. Anything that distracts you is designed to take you out of this present moment of feeling. Is this true for me? Is this something that I want to lean into or move away from? And back to those neural pathways on your nervous system. It's very, very, very minuscule. It happens in like microseconds of feeling it before we flood ourselves and shut down as children. So we want to look at pushing pause in order to evaluate, discern, and look at, hey, what am I aware of here? Because this doesn't feel good to me. Okay? And that's really discernment. It looks at what's really going on here. What is it? What am I missing? What do I need to look at? It's big picture. It's big picture stuff. And it doesn't always make sense to the cognitive linear thought patterns that we've been trained into. So it takes, it takes a number of details into account, and it measures them all against its sense of right and wrong, right? All the programming, all the stuff we're unlearning through these 28 days. And it happens like that. Discernment is much more solid. It's what I call, why I always say, put your stake in the ground, have your anchors in place. And there's lots of them. You got to look at what works for you. What works for you, if that's meditation, if that's mantras, if that is journaling, if it is all of it, allow yourself to have it. And it's got nothing to do with ass fakery. It's got nothing to do with faking it till you make it. It's just about, okay, I'm going to lean in and I'm going to practice this, even though I can't sit still for more than 10 minutes. You don't have to be meditating for 2 hours at a time. Give yourself the pause and gain the momentum. Bring it in and amplify it and keep adding more and more of it. And before you know it, there is no yes but. There is just more expansion. You're so less swayed or gullible. I used to be one of the most gullible people out there. Because I was so checked out of my body and so tuned into everybody else's stuff and treading on eggshells. You live with an alcoholic, abusive father. It happens when you live with narcissistic men, or you have people that are used to manipulating you and getting you to do what they want to do. It's easy to give yourself up. And this is really about returning. It's a coming home to the heart. And this is why I do the work that I do, and I show up on these on Facebook Live, because I want you to know that it doesn't have to be that way. It's time to come back to your heart. It's time to love yourself and love whatever arises and empower yourself to be the love warrior. And it starts with you. So don't be so easily swayed. It's easy to be swayed and go into confusion if you don't know yourself. This is why the inner work and getting to the root cause of why you have the unconscious commitments and the beliefs that are running your life from the 3-year-old or the pre-7-year-old. That's why my work is so deeply rooted in healing at the level of the nervous system, because you cannot change. Oh, thank you for being here, Lynn. You cannot change what you can't see, and you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So that rootedness of claiming your stake, of having strong anchors, having strong boundaries that are flexible, are going to give you that it doesn't matter what blows in or out in your awareness or your environment. You can discern when to bend with it, or when to move away, or when to speak your truth and rattle a few cages. So that's going to really allow you to be much more flexible when you actually have strong foundations and you're rooted in the truth of who you are. Because nobody else can give you the answers that you need. And you're allowed to change your mind, right? Like I talked about, or I missed the day when I wanted to talk about, you're under no obligation to be anyone or anything other than yourself. Obligation is one of those things like responsibility, right? Or false responsibility. And I'll go deeper into this in some of my programs. So this is where we all actually start talking about secure attachment and how the avoidant or the ambivalent and the different styles of attachment get mixed up in the confusion of not being able to be safe enough, which is often that first alarm bell at your body is the canary in the coal mine that's saying you're about to trip out or freeze or shut down just at the moment when you actually need to move your body away from danger. And we don't want to just be using our discernment and our awareness and our intuition in states of emergency, because then there becomes an addiction to creating emergencies in order to feel that adrenaline hit or to feel high, or like 11th hour, I have to prove, you see, I can do this, nothing to hide, nothing to prove. So remember, awareness is bigger. It's bigger than that. And without that power of discernment, of awareness, of intuition, you're gonna fall for anything, right? You get so gullible that you buy the magic pill from any fake assery, false prophets, and there's tons of them out there right now, and we all know that. And more than anything, you need your eyes wide open. Otherwise, you're going to abandon yourself, and all kinds of harmful lies and agendas are going to start seeping in and take over your life. So know that you have to keep yourself. You don't have to, but we're aiming for more awareness, more choice, more possibility, more contribution, better. We want better. And when you know who you are and you get clarity in what your pathway and purpose is, nothing's going to knock you off. And that's the power of having a mentor, of having a coach, of having a strong community that are going to kick your ass when you start wandering off into things that are not aligned with who you came here to be. Okay, no one can give you those answers, and yet we want other people to give us the answers to the things that we want to, that are uncomfortable for us, right? Because they're big. It's always the big stuff, and we cannot be responsible. We cannot be responding to our own journey, to our own growing pains, to our own lessons, if we're not taking full responsibility and accountability for who we are. We just want to be taken out of the tension. And remember, it's not pain. It's not pain that you're afraid of. It's the fear of not having made an impact in the world, of knowing that you did the best that you could and you lived the best version of yourself. So you're feeding the hungry ghost out there. You know, every offer of magic potions, like fucking bull serum, excuse me, but I heard someone tell me the other day that's the latest thing. Women are paying thousands or millions of dollars or whatever on bull serum because that's the latest thing to keep you youthful. And I see no greatness. I mean, it just feels so heavy. You know, it's not going to do anything for your face. There's a lot of placebo and nocebo effect going on here. And really, do you want to pretend? Oh boy, I can see I'm going up a rocky hill. You know, it's like the milk industry, whatever it is. You know, all that's going to do is hurt the bull. Know what you're aware of. Stop trusting all the bullshit that everybody's marketing to you, that this is gonna change your life or change your face or change your whatever, your hair or your libido or whatever it is. Only you get to tap into your creative energy and conserve your energy. Hi, Heather. You know, that's not awareness. That just hurts the poor bull that's been prodded with some freaking how many volts in order to get that bull serum in a pretty bottle onto your face. And I'm not into animal cruelty, okay? So we want awareness and we want discernment. And that's where we have to look at what are we pretending not to know, because it's uncomfortable. There's a mosquito here. Because it's uncomfortable for us to go there. You know, all the tools and promises for feeling better, for being more powerful, they're irresistible. Marketing is great. You know, the fantasies and the insanities and the assigns and all the assignations of, oh, just do this thing or swallow this pill and everything is going to be fine. You know, the highs, the specialness, the deliverance from pain. A lot of cults in the guise of consciousness are out there. You know, what's that? Don't follow me. Is subliminal, saying follow me. And we have to be aware of the energy and the languaging that we're feeling when people are saying, oh, don't follow me, you know, be your own guru. They're telling you to follow you. If someone's saying, oh, this is not a cult, this is access, whatever, they're telling you it is. And this cult of sameness and the groupies and, you know, the cliques of the languaging that's used is all designed to confuse you and make you stay. And I get it. I was in them, and it took me a long time to get out of some of those cults of consciousness. So just be aware of it, because if we, you know, we want to do this in foresight, not hindsight. We want to do this from an intuitive place that's kind to yourself, and stop wanting it. You know, stop wanting to get the answer, or to get out of pain, or to get the, you know, the golden goose, without actually taking the journey that you came here to experience and contribute to. And there are no shortcuts. Okay, there are no shortcuts, and we're all looking for the shortcut. No one's coming to save you, because you don't need saving. There are no shortcuts. This is your journey. You might as well enjoy it. You know, stop pretending that it's a struggle, because what you focus on will expand. And this is where we have to go back into, you're not confused. It's not that you don't know anything. It's that there's something that you're maybe avoiding. And you have to look at your own strength in relation to your growth. You know, shoulds and shouldn'ts. You know, should we be analyzing the class society that's been born of the wellness movement? I don't know. You know, being active in anything takes a certain amount of resonance for a start. And I've walked the little fairy garden path into some very interesting situations that I would rather have not have, but they certainly grew me. Don't know about you. Wishing others to be responsible. Yeah, that way we don't have to show up. Secure attachment. Absolutely, Heather. Yeah. So, any questions so far? Has this been helpful as far as confusion? Do you think that you can deepen into actively appreciating what confusion is? It's kind of the lies, the lines, and the manipulation fit right in there with all the other distractor implants. And be aware of where you put your time and your energy, because you can avoid esoteric practices, and you can do all sorts of things with ways to not have to take accountability, to just go along because it feels good until it doesn't, and that's choice too. Can we take a path of total self-reliance? No, we need tribe. You know, I really believe we need tribe, and we shouldn't be avoiding anything. We should be totally aware of what we know, and trust what we don't. You know, trust what you know, and trust what you don't know. You know, look at what is it that you're being called to. How many stops along the way? How much adventure could you have in there? You know, recommit. For me, it's a recommitment to radical self-care and growth and bettering every single day, and I want that for you too. So, you know, be discerning before you sign up for the next yoga class, or the next you know, Rima Church or Rivers Church, where the guy's got, you know, 20 Lamborghinis outside and everyone working for free, including you. And you're having the faith and the trust, and it's not loving of you, you know. So respect your soul, respect your heart, because your heart knows better than anyone, and they're your greatest teachers. And you are deserving, right? Because you are of service. You are service to your soul, to your journey first and foremost, before anybody else. And for me, less is more at the moment. You know, less spiritual paraphernalia in my life, the more clarity I have access to. There's no more crutches. There's no more excuses. There's just more strength. My stake in the ground, my anchors are getting stronger, and I hope that yours have too. And you know, these conversations are great for me to grow into myself too, and I really appreciate you being here, doing this little exploration with curiosity, with new eyes, to curb our dependency on all the crap out there, you know, the tinctures, the teachers, the Facebook, the whatever, the latest craze in apothecary or crystals or whatever it is. And just ask yourself, how can you be more present here if you didn't prepare to be present? You know, I keep daring myself to go there, because that's scary too for me. So where can you look at that for yourself? Just knowing You know, what feels light and what feels heavy for you. We're not looking at what's right or wrong. It doesn't mean that you're judgmental. It's just you being you, answering the call with love, your love warrior energy. That, you know, your heart knows what it knows, and your wise higher power, the universe, divine, it has got your back. But you have to do the work. You know, there is some work that's involved there. So trust into the one that isn't confused. You know, who would you be if you weren't confused in this moment? Who would you be if you didn't know what you think you know as true? And unlearn some of the stuff. Unhook from the matrix, you know, red pill or the blue pill, it's up to you. But, you know, maybe that's just the maverick in me, the rebel. But please stop saying you're confused. You do know who you are. And if you are confused about that, get some support. Book a clarity session with me. I would be honored to unconfuse you. I would be honored to give you the clarity and the light, so that you can be a beacon for others. It's time for you to shine, don't you think? I think it is. And remember too, you know, it's an ongoing practice. It's not, nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. And it's impossible to be aware and discerning all the time. Good, Lynn. I'm so glad to hear that. You know, we're aiming for that. You can't be discerning and aware and open and awake all the time. It's just not possible. So don't be aware all the time. Appreciate the moments where you're not aware. Appreciate when you are confused. That was today's challenge. Appreciate that sometimes confusion is just confusion, and there is no rhyme or reason or answer that you need to get. It's just that moment of looking at, wow, in this moment things are looking a little confusing. It's not forever. Just be aware in little bits, little baby bits, and step by step. We talk about this, inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is hard. But with steady self-love and devotion and awareness and intuition and appreciation for you, you're going to grow. You can't not grow. It's like you can't stop flow. You can't stop energy. And the more aware and discerned and intuitive you are, and the more you train, you make every day a training day, the less judgment can exist. You know, the less fear can exist. And some days your practices will ebb and flow. You know, it's okay. No one's going to die. You're good. You've got this. Everybody's fine. Some days you're going to be riding high. Some days you're going to be, you know, dancing and shaking and alleluiaing with Shiva himself. You know, dancing in the fires with Kali. And some days you're going to feel, what's the point? What if there is no point? You know, other days you're just doing what it takes to not feel like shit. And that's okay. But be kind to yourself, you know, tread gently on yourselves, because you are a beacon of light, right? You're a lighthouse. You are the sun herself. So honor that, appreciate that. Be the love warrior and love the way that you do, and love whatever arises, you know, and call the bullshit. Call the bullshit when you need to. There's a lot of bullshit flying around. Call the bullshit when you need to, and keep it classy, keep it sassy, keep it kind. But, you know, what else? What else other than that? Be willing to honor your boundaries. Be willing to appreciate the confusion. And I will go back and look at any questions that you have, any awarenesses, any insights, any nuggets of wisdom from your higher self on how to appreciate the confusion. Please let me know. Share it with these beautiful women that show up here every day with you. I'm always learning. And I appreciate that you are my growth partners and that you're here on this beautiful, rocky, bumpy, beautiful ride with me. Yeah, boundaries. So you might want to go back and listen to the boundaries call. I think we appreciated boundaries a couple of days ago, and I'm probably going to be doing a webinar on boundaries or a course, because it is a big one and it's a huge one. But you know, flexibility in the boundaries really is also such a beautiful place to be. It's just like they're not rigid, because you know who you are and you know what works for you and what doesn't. And when you can stand strong in identifying who you are, you have to guard those boundaries and be devotional in your practice to them. And of course they're going to change. You're going to change with every situation, every place, everything looks different, but you never change, because you are the rock. You are always the rock. And the stream can go over and under, and little things can feed off you, and we're looking for the win-win in everything. And sometimes you just need to call the bullshit. Okay? Call people on the bullshit. Because I'm not okay with some of the things that are going on out there. And if that makes people judge me and you, because you're all light workers here and you're all sensitive empaths and you're all intuitive and you all care, it's time to call the bullshit. And it's time to say no. Because I want a world where more kindness exists, and I know you do too. So remember, the golden rule applies. I mean, when doesn't it ever? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, even if you want nothing to do with them. And I think that's key, and I think that's where I'm gonna love and leave you. I have pictures to hang up today. The house is looking amazing. I'll give you a tour in the next couple of days or so, but it's turning into a beautiful home. And remember, soul sanctuary, your homecoming, lives right here inside of you. There's nothing to find. There's nothing outside of you to go and look for. You have everything deep in your heart, and all you need is some support and some guidance to remind you of that. So I hope I gave you that today, and I sent you lots and lots of love. Post your questions. Bye.